ਹੁਣ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਆਪਾਂ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੌਣ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੀ there's no better person to give you education than a teacher and a master ਨਹੀਂ ਸੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੀ ਮਾਸਟਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਏ ਹੋ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ Anisha Johal so thank you very much ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ
Thank you for having me.
Anisha, you're a teacher and you've done a lot of research into women empowerment
Yes.
and especially the Punjabi culture and the Sikh culture and we're going to talk about that with you today. So ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਜੋ women empowerment ਆ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਕੀ ਆ what is women empowerment and how have you related it to the Punjabi culture and the Sikh culture?
So just to give you a bit of background to myself, from a young age, I've always been intrigued by our culture, our religion, always had questions, you hear Hiranja in music, but what does it actually mean? People nowadays don't really know much about them, books aren't written about them. So this led me on a journey over the last 4 years at university. I did a Bachelor of Arts degree in English and a Master's in English. And I was fortunate enough to be able to explore my passions. So, most universities don't offer opportunities to explore different literatures, but thankfully on my course I had that freedom and independence. So I explored the representation of females in Punjabi literature. I explored Gurbani, the Samgranth, Mool Mantar, and it led me to winning different awards for my research and presenting at the University of Oxford at the Punjab Research Conference and the University of Warwick's International Sikh Research Conference.
And what did your research tell you about women empowerment?
And it taught me a lot, actually. It opened my eyes to women's empowerment. And firstly, talking about it from my perspective, I had questions and there weren't answers. So I went and did my research and got answers. And one thing I've always been intrigued by is the Hiranja folk tale. So Punjabi culture, has loads of rich folk tales like Hiranja, Mirza Seba, Laila Majnu.
Sasi Pannu.
Yes, exactly.
We equate them to Romeo and Juliet, right?
We
and Shakespeare,
do.
that is two lovers, fall in love, they have obstacles, and Ostoba, they overcome the obstacles, but then it's a tragedy, it's a tragic love story.
Yeah. You're spot on. People see it from a Western perspective. So without Romeo and Juliet, there's no reference point to this. And as a Bhangra and Gidda dancer, I've been part of the team Bakri Punjabans for 4 years. And we do, old school Gidda Bolliya, which are about Hiranja. So when I'm on stage acting as Hir, it's my responsibility to know, who is this character and what does she represent?
So tell us about Hiranja and how that's about women empowerment.
Yes. So most people, say what you said. Two people fall in love, can't be together.
That's what I was told.
But it's actually not about that. Hir represents the Atma. Ranja represents Paramatma, so God. So it's actually a tale of this whole and God merging, coming in alignment with each other. So, in Gurbani and Sikhi, there's a phrase, Bera Barutar. So crossing the worldly ocean and then bringing other people with you, helping others to cross over. But what does this mean? Well, the way I interpret it is that we have a mind and we have a soul, we have a spirit. And most people operate from the mind. They have no connection to that deeper part and spirit. But actually, it's about aligning them both together and operating from that deeper place within us. And that's what the folk tales of Hiranja tell us. And it's quite interesting how there's a big link to Gurbani here, because Guru Gobind Singh Ji in Dasam Granth actually refers to these folk tales of Hiranja, while Gurdas Ji refers to them in Gurbani. So there's a very strong link between this idea that these folk tales had a deeper spiritual meaning. For example, Varis Shah, who wrote Hiranja, it came from a higher place. It wasn't, I'd like to write a story about two lovers and societal issues. Turki Bani, Gurbani was written, the Gurus channeled it. It came from a higher place. And this is where these folk tales came from. But it's interesting to see how they haven't evolved over time. They've devolved. Women's empowerment has gone from here all the way down to here.
Anisha, thank you very much. And thank you for giving us that sort of connection.
Yeah.
And मैं यही कहूँगा देखो जी Anisha ਦੇ ਜੋ points ਆ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕੁਲਦੀਪ ਮਾਣਕ ਜੀ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਗੀਤ ਗਾ ਕੇ ਹੀਰਾਂਝਾ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੱਸੀ ਪੰਨੂ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਿ ਐਂਡ ਆਲਸੋ ਮਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਮਾਂ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਪਾਵਰਫੁਲ ਗੀਤ ਆ ਪਰ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਜੋ ਗਾਇਕ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਗੀਤ ਗਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਪਟੋਲਾ ਜੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਨਾਰ ਆ ਜੀ ਤੋਤਾ whatever ਗੀਤ they call them ਔਰਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਸ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਸਜਾਵਟ ਦੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਪਟਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਖਿਲਾਉਣਾ ਆ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਬਸ ਇਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਕਿ she just in a physical sense ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਆਤਮ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਸਪਿਰਿਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਐਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਗੀਤ ਗਾਇਆ ਨਹੀਂ
Yeah, and I do have a conclusion to add to
Go
that.
on,
You know,
go
we're
on.
talking
We don't
about
want to miss your
women.
conclusion, Anisha.
We're talking about women's empowerment, right? So it all starts within. And you know, if you're asking what's the key, what's the answer, how can women do this, how can they cross over? And I'd say it in English, you know, the answer is love, but I don't think that's like the right word, because obviously in Punjabi culture there's loads of words, there's ishq, there's pyar mohabbat, but the answer is breathe. It's that divine, spiritual, higher level love. And I think people just aren't used to that higher expression. And that's the answer. It's that deeper spiritual love. And it starts within yourself. You know, our culture has significance. Names like Manpreet begins within. Harpreet, it extends, it goes out. So if there's anything that people take about empowerment, the answer is breathe.
Anisha, thank you very much. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਬਾਰੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ and Bobo, thank you